Albert Einstein's
It's going
beginnings
told
did
you,
not
Albert, and
suggest
it'll
a
make you the
future
darn
of
back to me.
unparalleled genius.
No mascot, you'll try it.
Born in Ulm and raised in Munich, he was a remarkably quiet and introverted child. In fact, he did not begin speaking fluently until he was nearly 3 years old. His parents worried deeply, consulting doctors about his severe language delay. A turning point arrived at age 5 when he was sick in bed. His father, Hermann, gave him a simple magnetic compass to entertain him. Young Albert was instantly spellbound by the invisible force guiding the needle. He realized that deeply hidden forces must exist behind the visible world. His formal education at the Luitpold Gymnasium was deeply oppressive. The Prussian schooling system relied entirely on strict discipline and rote memorization. Albert despised this mechanical learning, viewing it as a destroyer of natural curiosity. He frequently clashed with his authoritarian teachers, earning a reputation as a rebel. A persistent popular myth claims that Einstein failed mathematics as a child. In reality, this could not be further from the actual historical truth. He was a mathematical prodigy, far exceeding the standard curriculum. By the age of 15, he had already mastered both differential and integral calculus. When his family's electrical business failed, they relocated to northern Italy. Albert was left behind in Munich to finish his high school education. Unable to endure the rigid school any longer, he obtained a doctor's note and fled. He joined his family in Italy, formally renouncing his German citizenship. Determined to enter the prestigious Zurich Polytechnic, he took the entrance exam at 16. While his scores in physics and advanced mathematics were absolutely exceptional, he struggled severely with the language, botany, and zoology sections. He failed the overall exam, forcing him to complete his secondary schooling first. He was sent to a special cantonal school in Aarau, Switzerland, to finish his diploma. This school was vastly different from the oppressive German gymnasiums.
It is all about balance.
It emphasized independent thought, visual learning, and conceptual understanding. In this nurturing, progressive environment, his incredible intellect finally fully blossomed. It was during his time in Aarau that he began his most famous thought experiment. He visualized what it would be like to run alongside a beam of light. Would the light wave appear to stand perfectly still, frozen in time? This single, powerful visualization planted the seed for his theory of relativity. He finally gained admission to the Zurich Polytechnic to study physics and mathematics. There, he met Maliva Mari, the only woman studying physics in his entire class.
The equations don't account for all of it.
They always do if you look at the universe correctly. Let's see what happens next.
They quickly bonded over their shared passion for science and their rebellious natures. They often skipped mandatory lectures to study the latest theories in theoretical physics together. His independent streak severely alienated his traditional professors. He frequently clashed with Professor Heinrich
He's going to
Weber,
kill me. He's going to
refusing
put me in
to
St. Michael's.
address
He's a
him
psychopath. He's going to
respectfully.
kill me.
Don't let him get away.
You will not leave this office until you have finished this assignment, Albert. You heard me, Albert.
Because he constantly skipped classes and ignored the curriculum, he graduated with a poor reputation. Consequently, every single one of his professors refused to write him a letter of recommendation. Without recommendations, the brilliant graduate was completely unable to find an academic post. For 2 agonizing years, he desperately searched for employment across Europe. He survived by taking poorly paid, temporary jobs tutoring high school students. He felt like an absolute failure, deeply burdening his struggling parents. His time as a private tutor was incredibly frustrating and intellectually starving. He desperately wanted to explore the cutting edge of theoretical physics. Instead, he was forced to teach rudimentary mathematics to indifferent children. His brilliant mind felt completely trapped and tragically wasted. Salvation finally arrived when a friend's father helped him secure a steady job. He was hired as a third-class technical expert at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. While not an academic post, the job provided him with a vital, steady income. It also offered something even more important, time to think. Outside of work, his intellectual life thrived through informal gatherings. He formed a small reading group with friends, jokingly calling it the Olympiad Academy. They passionately debated philosophy, mathematics, and the fundamental nature of reality. This rigorous, freewheeling intellectual environment deeply sharpened his critical thinking. Now financially secure, he was finally able to marry Maliva in 1903. They had overcome immense opposition from his family, who strongly disapproved of her. Maliva served as a vital sounding board for his most radical scientific ideas. Together, they formed a formidable intellectual partnership in those early years. His work at the Patent Office was famously efficient. He could finish a full day's work in merely a few hours, leaving his desk clear. He would then covertly pull out his own notebooks to work on his own physics theories. He called the patent office his worldly cloister, a perfect environment for deep thought. In 1905, this quiet patent clerk unleashed an unprecedented scientific revolution. This period became known as his Annus Mirabilis, or the Miracle Year. His first paper argued that light was not a continuous wave, but made of discrete packets. These packets, later called photons, perfectly explained the mysterious photoelectric effect. His second paper tackled the chaotic, jittery movement of particles suspended in a fluid. This phenomenon, known as Brownian motion, had baffled scientists for decades. Einstein mathematically proved that the movement was caused by invisible atoms crashing into the particles. This paper provided the ultimate definitive proof that atoms physically existed. His third paper was his most radical, destroying Isaac Newton's absolute universe. He realized that the speed of light must be constant for all observers. Therefore, time and space must be entirely relative, stretching and compressing depending on speed. This special theory of relativity fundamentally rewrote the laws of physics. His fourth and final paper of that miraculous year contained a short, elegant equation. E equals mc squared revealed that mass and energy were entirely interchangeable. It showed that a tiny amount of mass contained an absolutely massive amount of energy. This profound insight would eventually unlock the immense power of the atom. The scientific community was initially stunned and deeply skeptical of his radical papers. But gradually, leading physicists realized a once-in-a-generation genius had emerged. He finally received academic offers, leaving the patent office after 7 years. He began a rapid ascent through the academic ranks in Zurich, Prague, and eventually Berlin. As his professional fame skyrocketed, his personal life rapidly deteriorated. His obsessive, solitary focus on his work caused intense friction with Mileva. Moving to Berlin, the heart of German physics, was the final breaking point for their marriage. Mileva returned to Zurich with their sons, leading to a bitter, painful divorce. During this turbulent period, he grew close to his cousin, Elsa. Elsa was practical, extremely supportive, and completely devoted to managing his chaotic life. They eventually married, and she provided the stable, protective environment he desperately needed. She shielded him from the public, allowing him to focus entirely on his next great challenge. Despite his massive success, Einstein realized his special theory of relativity was incomplete. It applied only to constant motion and entirely ignored the force of gravity. He embarked on a grueling, agonizing quest to incorporate gravity into relativity. This intellectual struggle would push his brilliant mind to the absolute breaking point. Breakthrough came with what he later called the happiest thought of my life. He famously visualized a man falling freely inside a closed elevator. He realized that the falling man would feel absolutely no weight whatsoever. Gravity and acceleration were effectively the exact same thing. After 10 years of agonizing mathematical struggle, he finally completed his masterpiece. In 1915, he presented the general theory of relativity to the Prussian Academy. He proposed that gravity was not a pulling force, but a physical curvature of space-time. Massive objects, like the sun, warped the universe, dictating how matter moved. To prove this radical theory, scientists needed to observe starlight bending around the sun. This could only be done during a total solar eclipse, when the sun's glare was blocked. In 1919, British astronomer Arthur Eddington mounted an expedition to West Africa. He desperately photographed the stars appearing near the edge of the eclipsed sun. Developing the photographic plates in the stifling heat, Eddington measured the star positions. The results were absolutely undeniable. The starlight had visibly bent around the massive gravity of the sun. The measurements perfectly matched Einstein's radical predictions. When the eclipse results were announced, it sent shockwaves across the globe. Overnight, Albert Einstein became a massive global icon, the world's first scientific superstar. His name became instantly synonymous with unparalleled human genius. He was mobbed by journalists and adoring crowds wherever he went. But this incredible newfound fame brought intense, overwhelming public scrutiny. He deeply disliked the constant intrusion into his incredible private life.
No music, I love it, I use it, I gouge you.
He felt like a circus curiosity, rather than a serious theoretical physicist. Yet he used his massive platform to advocate for pacifism and international cooperation. In 1921, he was finally awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. Interestingly, it was awarded for his work on the photoelectric effect, not relativity. He spent much of the 1920s traveling extensively across the globe. He visited the United States, Asia, and the Middle East, greeted everywhere as a visionary. But back home in Germany, the political climate was turning violently and aggressively dark. The rapid rise of the Nazi Party brought virulent anti-Semitism to the forefront of society. Einstein's own books were thrown into the massive, terrifying bonfires. His brilliant science was fiercely and violently attacked by the regime as Jewish physics. Recognizing the grave existential danger to his life, Einstein made a devastating decision. In 1933, while traveling abroad, he realized he could never return. He renounced his German citizenship for the second time and fled his homeland.
I know I am leaving home forever.
He sought permanent refuge across the Atlantic in the United States. In America, Einstein finally found a safe haven in the quiet town of Princeton, New Jersey. He accepted a prominent position at the newly formed Institute for Advanced Study. He quickly became a beloved fixture in the small academic town. He was known globally for his gentle demeanor, his humor, and his extreme eccentricity. The growing shadow of a Second World War soon shattered this hard-won peace. Physicists discovered nuclear fission, realizing a terrifying weapon could be built. In 1939, terrified that the Nazis might develop an atomic bomb, he took action. He signed a desperate, urgent letter warning the President of the United States. This fateful letter helped initiate the massive Manhattan Project. Though Einstein was considered a security risk and never worked directly on the bomb, the devastating nuclear strikes on Japan weighed incredibly heavily on his conscience. He felt a profound, heartbreaking guilt for his role in unlocking the atom's power. He spent his final years fiercely advocating for global disarmament and world peace. Scientifically, he relentlessly pursued a unified field theory to explain all forces of nature. Though he never found this final equation, his quest was a testament to his unbreakable spirit. Despite revolutionizing physics, Einstein famously clashed with the new generation of quantum mechanics. At the legendary 1927 Solvay conference, he debated fiercely with Niels Bohr. He refused to accept that the universe was governed by probability and random chance. He famously declared that God does not play dice with the universe. He also made significant theoretical mistakes during his long career. To force his equations to describe a static universe, he introduced the cosmological constant. When Edwin Hubble later proved the universe was expanding, Einstein was forced to retract it. He later called this addition the biggest blunder of his entire life. To escape the immense pressure of his work, he constantly turned to music. He was a highly accomplished violinist, having played since he was a small child. He particularly loved Mozart, feeling that the music possessed the same elegant structure as the universe. Whenever he was stuck on a physics problem, playing the violin would unlock the solution. Safe in America during the 1930s, he did not forget those trapped in Europe. He spent countless hours writing affidavits and securing visas for Jewish refugees fleeing the Nazis. He personally saved thousands of lives, leveraging his massive global fame for humanitarian action. His office in Princeton became a desperate clearinghouse for escape from the Holocaust. His outspoken pacifism and socialist leanings made him highly suspicious to the American government. J. Edgar Hoover's FBI kept him under constant, aggressive surveillance for over 2 decades. Agents tapped his phones, opened his mail, and compiled a massive 1,400-page file on him. They considered the world's most famous scientist to be a severe internal security threat. Having fled severe racial persecution himself, he fiercely opposed segregation in America. He famously called racism a disease of white people and actively supported the civil rights movement. He controversially joined the NAACP and accepted an invitation to teach at Lincoln University. He saw the struggle for equality as fundamentally connected to the struggle for human freedom. In his later years, he became deeply isolated from the mainstream of theoretical physics. His closest intellectual companion became the brilliant and deeply eccentric logician, Kurt Gödel. They walked home together every single day, debating the fundamental nature of time itself. Einstein famously said he only went to the Institute to have the privilege of walking with Gödel. In 1952, following the death of Chaim Weizmann, he received an astonishing offer. He was formally invited to become the second president of the newly formed State of Israel. Though deeply moved by the offer, he immediately and politely declined it. He stated he completely lacked the natural aptitude and the experience to deal properly with people. In April 1955, he suffered a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm. When doctors suggested surgery to prolong his life, he completely refused the operation. He calmly stated, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially." Even on his deathbed, he continued to work on his unified field theory until the very end. Following his death, his wishes were for his body to be cremated immediately. However, the pathologist on duty, Thomas Harvey, controversially removed and kept his brain. He desperately hoped to unlock the physical anatomical secrets of Einstein's incredible genius. The brain was sectioned into pieces and studied for decades, revealing highly unusual physical structures. Today, his theories are not just historical artifacts. They actively govern our modern world. Every time we use GPS on our phones, we rely entirely on the corrections of relativity. His equations predicted black holes, gravitational waves, and the expansion of the universe itself. Albert Einstein did not just study the universe, he completely redefined reality.